What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be starting a new segment just called Frog Talk, where I talk about frogs. Disadvantages, advantages, pros and cons of every frog. What's on my mind at the current moment. We're going to start off talking about these puppies here, the copper red Bates frogs. You know I love these things. You know I've been throwing the shit out of them. There's one thing I can say about these, consistency-wise, these are the best on the market. If you want a frog you know out of the package isn't going to take on water, it's going to walk really well, it's going to spit water, it's going to skip really, really well. These things cast and skip like a freaking bullet, man. Really amazing frog, you guys. The only reason you haven't seen me using these as much in my videos is just because I've been losing fish on them. And I haven't had that problem until just recently, like the past few weeks. You know, I've been on some big fish on Lake X. If you know where it is, you know where it is. But I mean, it's just a reality of the situation. I've been losing fish on them, you guys. It is what it is. I got to be honest about these frogs and the reviews I give them, you know. I've been told that a softer hook set is going to be better with these. And granted, I mean, I've had days, like if you saw my initial river trip where I murdered them on the Papa Smurf and I caught like 30 bass on it. I think I landed like every fish. So, you know, take all this with a grain of salt. Go out and try these for yourself because they're an amazing frog. They really are. These are always going to be a permanent tool in my arsenal because they're just so consistently amazing and they fish amazing. It's just that one little thing, man. But it's not really a little thing. Like I gotta get fish in the boat. Maybe I'm setting the hook too hard, but I only know how to set the hook hard throwing frogs. And it seems like every fish I've been getting in the boat, the frog just kind of comes out. I don't have to push the hook out. The frog just kind of, like, as soon as any tension is relieved, the hook just kind of comes out, it seems like. But this is top 3 frog for me, hands down. Move on to the next one. I know you know I love the gambler frogs, you guys. Man, I love these frogs. Consistency-wise, durability-wise, they are not on par with the copper red Bates frogs. I'm just going to get that out the way right now. Hookup-wise, I'm getting fish in the boat when I hook them up with this. I did lose like a really big one on one of these that pulled off, but like everything else I've hooked up besides that one, I've got in the boat, and you got to pop that hook out. You feel the resistance. Great color options. I love the shiny filament in the skirt, the rattle. The one thing I will say, if you get a good one of these, it'll last you 30 to 40, maybe even 50 fish. If you get a bad one, you're catching 2 to 3 fish on it before you got to glue it up again. Then you take it back out and you're only catching like maybe 3 to 5 more fish on it before it craps out again on you. It's really bizarre. I've gotten some of the walking frogs. See, this is a popping one here. I've gotten some of their walking ones in this color, the Okie Shad, that have been absolute tanks. And the hookups are just phenomenal on them. So it just depends. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with SPRO. I don't know if I've talked about it much on my channel, you guys. SPRO has been my #1 frog for a couple years, up until recently. I don't know what the hell is going on at the SPRO headquarters. That company is a freaking disaster. It is an absolute disaster. I have a SPRO trouble bin that I'm starting for all the SPRO frogs I gotta glue. That ain't even a fraction of them right there. The last 5 SPRO frogs I've gotten, they just suck up water. They just inhale water with the lightest rod twitch. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. I don't know what happened to that company. You'll get 2 SPRO frogs of the same color. One is clearly made with a different material, like a stiffer plastic, and one is made with a cheaper plastic. And I'm just like, are y'all manufacturing these in 2 different places and like one is producing them shitty? Not to mention, they just hiked the price up of the Bronze Eye 65 to like over $15. The SPRO 70, the Poppin' Frog, is like over $16, almost $17. It's just mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I most likely will never buy another SPRO frog again in my life. I'm so disappointed with that company. Another thing I'm going to say, you guys, is I have never had a SPRO frog hook bend out on me. I've had about 5 bend out on me over the past year and a half or so. Look at that. That's like 2 or 3 fish in, hook clearly just bent out. I lost like a 4.5, 5 pounder on it. These are issues you simply can't have with a frog. You have to throw a frog. I shouldn't say have to, but the ideal setup for a frog is an extra heavy rod. An extra heavy rod with your drag lock down, the hook has to be able to support that. It has to be able to support that impact, or else the frog is virtually useless, especially if you do hook up that 7+ pounder. You need good hooks. You absolutely need good hooks, unless you want to downsize your rod to like a medium action, but then it's like, you got to be using a booyah or something for that. Like, you need a really soft frog for that. I don't know. I'm so disappointed with that company. I've had some of my best days ever with SPRO frogs, and it's just, they're virtually unusable, and they're just an absolute money pit. Do not buy a SPRO. You're going to get it, you're going to throw it, and you're going to twitch that frog once, and it's the back end of that frog. You're going to start dipping in the water like this. You're going to twitch it again, and it's going to dive under the water, and then you're going to be, it's like a subsurface bait. I mean, it's absolutely a joke. SPRO is an absolute joke. Do not buy any SPRO frogs. Save your money. With that being said, if you do buy a SPRO frog and you feel like paying the ridiculous price of $17 now, the SPRO 70 popper is actually almost kind of worth it. These things walk really, really well. Bigger profile frog. They get big bites. Really good shad patterns for the fall. That nasty shad or that killer gill. If you saw, I caught a 6-pound 2-ouncer in one of my recent videos. And you could walk this thing like a spook, man. It's awesome. Really good frog. If you feel the need to buy a SPRO frog, or if you want to try a SPRO frog, buy the 70. The 65s are just an absolute disgrace. I don't know why more companies don't make this in-between size. That's a gambler, like a same size as a SPRO 65. This is the 70. I don't know why more companies don't make this size. It just seems like a hole in the market, man. Megabass, Big Gabbit, they make this size frog, maybe even slightly bigger than this. But I can't trust the hooks on the Big Gabbits either. Everything Megabass is like high quality shit, is the best way I can describe Megabass. I've gotten hard baits from Megabass. Probably the best walking bait I ever used was one of their hard bait topwaters. And I remember I hooked into a monster fish one time, and I come back, all 3 treble hooks bent out. And I mean, on their Megabass Big Gabbits, I don't have one handy on me right now, but just look up the Megabass Big Gabbits on Tackle Warehouse. That is a really awesome frog. Skips really well, walks really well, spits water really well, and then you'll land a fish on it, you'll look at the hook, and you're like, that's slightly bent out. And that just simply cannot happen. It cannot happen with any frog, let alone a frog that's like, however expensive that one is, probably pushing $20. I can't for the life of me understand why these lure companies put crappy freaking hooks on expensive baits. I will pay the extra money for you to put a good hook on that bait so I don't have to replace it myself. It's just the most simple little thing you have to do. And like no lure company does it, I feel like, anymore. Like hardly anybody does. No, one company that does it, Jackall. I'm telling you what, it's been a hot minute since I threw a Gavacho. These things are freaking awesome. These have the most gnarly freaking hooks of any frog I have ever thrown. I don't know what, these are like made out of some crazy dense metal, man. These, I don't even know if you could bend these out. It'd be hard to bend these hooks out. But not only that, the point of the hooks curve upward. and they're protected by the frog. You get some nasty hookups on the Gavacho. Also walks really well, also pops really well. Very soft too. Compresses super easy. These are awesome. I don't know why it's taken me so long to throw these, but I will definitely be throwing this. I'm going to be on vacation again pretty soon here. And me and my buddy are going to do a little camping trip out at Lake Fayette, and I will definitely be throwing this. Should be prime time for that lake too. I know I've seen some crazy frog bites people have gotten on out there, so really looking forward to that. Last one I'm going to talk about that I have been using in one of my recent videos is this Sense Vega. I put this frog away for a long time, you guys, because I had a day on the San Marcos River where I missed, man, I don't even know, probably 9 or 10 blowups where they completely choked this thing. I set the hook on them, and the frog just comes flying back at me. But my last trip out with this, these things walk really, really well. They do not take on water. The way this thing is sealed off on the bottom and has like kind of that, I don't even know, like plastic mold around the hook that goes into the frog, really keeps the water out. I wish more companies would do this instead of the shrink wrap, because on the shrink wrap, your frog will slide up and down the shrink wrap, and sometimes it gets too tight to the hooks, and your frog will end up hooking itself. But yeah, overall, super impressed with these. I wouldn't even say I'm like that crazy about 6 Sense as a company, but I do like these frogs, and the 2 fish that I did catch, I hooked them really good. And one was like a 4-pound 3-ouncer, one was like a high 3. So I will definitely be throwing these a lot more often, as long as I continue to hook up fish really well on them. The last one I'm going to talk about for today is this CRB Tsunami. You can kind of lump this in with the King Daddy. The King Daddy is more weedless, and the King Daddy will correct itself if it lands upside down. The only bad thing I really can say about this frog is that sometimes it will land upside down. You got to give it a hard pop to make it flip back over. But once you get it flipped over, it does stay straight up, and it walks really, really well, skips really, really well. And this frog, I have gotten the most ridiculous hookups I have ever gotten of any frog on the market with this. They make some really good shad patterns. If you're on some big fish in clear water, you might want to try out like that nasty shad. I don't know if it's nasty shad. Stranded shad. I got one here. That's their loudmouth. But this one in the Tsunami, I think if you're on big fish in clear water, man, or even just the white one, you know, just one of the white belly ones will work really, really well. Yeah, very impressed with this. Y'all saw me catch some really nice ones on the river on the Tsunami. Really awesome frog, super soft, great frog. My frogging setup, you guys. I always get asked what my frogging setup is. I'm probably just gonna direct them to this video from now on, or I can just reply in the comments section. It's not that long of a description, but I think the Dobbins Cadence series is the best rod you can get for the money. They have more expensive models, but I think if you're spending more money on a rod than $180 for what you get for this, I think you're just wasting money. I really do. It's got the full cork handle, which feels freaking amazing. This thing is light as a feather. You can frog with this all day, you guys, not get tired. I'm also using a low profile reel. I'm using that Corrado 150 HG. It's the MGL. It's the smaller one. It's got a smaller spool, lower profile. You don't have to palm it as much, so you're not wearing your wrist out as much. You get a really good grip. You get all the way around the reel real easily. 7'4", mag, heavy, fast. You got to have the heavy, that Magnum heavy rod for the backbone. You got to have the fast tip to be able to throw accurate casts and walk the frog. It's that simple, you guys. 7'4", you got to have at least a 7-foot rod. I think at least 7.3 personally. You can absolutely get away with a 7.71. I use a 7.71 forever, but a 7.4 is just better. You're going to connect on more fish. Because with the 7.1 back in the day, I used to not feel that I got the hook in the fish until the very top of the hook set, and that's not a good feeling. You want to feel that rod loaded up about halfway through and then really stick them at the top. But if you're not feeling tension until you get to the very top, you're probably going to lose that fish, and your rod probably ain't long enough. You probably need a few more inches on that rod to really drive those hooks into the fish. Throwing that killer gill, that gambler, just threw that in the pool. That thing is looking phenomenal. I can't wait to throw that on Lake Fayette. Talk about the gear ratio real quick, you guys. I've used 7.1, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5. I kind of feel like a 7.4 is perfect for me. A lot of people will use an 8. The only problem I have with an 8 is when I'm walking a frog, you have to turn the handle to gather a little bit of line so you can work the frog properly. But with such a high gear ratio, just the slightest turn of the handle, you're like gathering too much line, and it's harder to walk the frog because you're just like the tiniest little nudge of the handle is like straightening out your frog, if that makes any sense. But a 7.4, I can still gather enough line to get a good hook in a frog, and it's not too fast to where it's impeding the action of the frog, where I can actually walk it and get that head to turn side to side without tightening the line on the frog. So I was just going through editing that, and I realized I didn't even mention the line that I was using. 65-pound Power Pro Max Quattro is the braid that I run on my frogging setup for now on. It's 12-pound diameter compared to the regular Power Pro, which is 16-pound diameter. So it's way thinner, just as strong. Kind of a no-brainer to me. You still do need to retie like every 10 fish or so because of how thin it is. Especially if you've been casting in and around trees all day, you're fraying your line. You just don't know it. But yeah, that's the line I'm using, you guys. If you enjoy this kind of content, let me know. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment if you have any more questions. I'm thinking about making this a regular thing. If I get enough views or if y'all like the video enough, I'll probably make this a regular occurrence. Maybe once a month, twice a month. Just talk about frogs, talk about what I like, what I don't like, give y'all my honest opinion about these. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Till the next one, stay froggy. Peace.